Yesterday I was watching Last Week Tonight. You have heard about it?
I think so, yeah.
It's with John Oliver, and he was talking about the Brett Kavanaugh's case.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? That the nominee from the Supreme Court of the United States that is accused of sexual harassment.
No, I haven't seen it.
It is an issue. There is a big issue right now in the States because a woman that sued him, kind of like a sued him, because when they were in college, Brett Kavanaugh, tried to abuse her sexually, and right now he is a nominee, but the opposition party, the Democrats, ain't want that man on the charge because he's going to carry out a conservative agenda. Mm-hmm. I think it's related to what happened here in some sense, because the other day I was seeing in the news that it was a senator that was having a conversation with some friends during work hours. He was saying to a friend that he wanted to fuck a prostitute while he was working, you know. And it's kind of like it's not like sexual harassment, but it is somehow related to that, you know.
Yes.
Even what I'm trying to say is that everything connects. You are talking about the higher traits of society, but when you put it back to our level, to normal people level, like in college, you find cases of harassment here too. For example, some friends told me about a teacher that was kind of annoying, but you know, like sending messages. I know, probably you know who I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
And I think it's problematic because it's a phenomenon that is so incrustated in society that we don't know how to deal with. What do you think about?
Well, I think harassment is a really big problem nowadays. But if you see, for example, in the cases of cinema and multimedia, you will check that, well, since last year or even 2 years ago, there was a lot of an impact of a lot of actors that suffer harassment because of the producers, and maybe because of the purposes that they need to do in order for making a movie. Otherwise, we saw those kind of problems at the United States and also to Mexico.
Yeah, the biggest issue is that they don't cease to work. They carry on duties, or they carry on working on movies, or they carry on ain't nobody cared for that person who was abused, and that's the biggest problem, because at least in the Kavanaugh's case, the Supreme Court judges or senators that were on the hearing, attending the case, they agree that there was an offense, but also they agree, and we ain't not care about you. We realize that you have been harassed. We just don't give a fuck. That's what they said, because the news channels interviewed some of the senators, like this dude is called Lindsey Graham, and he said that he realized that Ford's testimony was powerful indeed, but he was still pushing Kavanaugh's nomination through. That's I think the biggest issue here, that we realize that what is happening, but we just don't care.
Yeah, and somehow you see, for example, those kind of cases happens with highest levels of society. I mean, people that have power. For example, if you see like a normal citizen that suffers harassment or take abuse of another person, they quickly go to the jail. But if you see, for example, a senator or a person that have like a diplomatic.
Yeah, they have some kind of status.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you know what, whatever. And they don't do nothing for them. Well, as I see here in Mexico. But yeah, it's a big problem, and I think society needs to take care of for that situations. For example, you don't have to go too far. For example, the cardinals.
Yeah.
The Pope.
Yeah.
The biggest problem that humanity has ever taken of. The cardinals, the Pope.
Yeah, that means that the problem comes from below and then arises to the highest level. It's not something that happens above us. It happens at our level, but still we push it down like there's no problem. Let's just keep it higher over here. That's the way. That's the biggest issue. I think that we realize that there's a problem, but we don't address it. We just say, okay, let's like the movement that grew, and the Me Too movement, and that was indeed a powerful movement, giving voice to those women that were abused, that were hindered in some way in their careers. But at the end of the day, nothing happened. Yeah, like the situation. Yeah, we have Harvey Weinstein that was prosecuted, but paid an millionaire amount of money to go out of jail to evade being put in jail. And yeah, I mean, it is. We have to work it out from our families, like start telling children that this is not okay, that it's not okay to do this kind of things, that we should, improve as a society, not just keep the status quo that is happening right now.
But somehow it's really difficult getting back for the comparative of Pope and the church that involves in here, because it has been a problem for a long years, and no one has even taken care of. They're just like, oh, just recently, a few months ago, you see, oh, this Pope has 800 cases of abused child. You say, hey, what the hell, man? I mean, it's like 800.
We ain't just don't care anymore. Like, it was like a really problematic situation that you mentioned. That a lot of priests, the cases that came out from I think 20 to 30 years ago, that he raped like a lot of children, and the Vatican, it's okay. We are discharging him and we are sending back to the jail but the nice jail, the jail in Vatican, not the jail in the United States. Like we put them, that kind of men should be put with the general population that is filled with another. See this image. Put that priest in an Afro-American prison. He will get his whole field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So I don't know what to tell you. It seems like society is progressively fucking things up. Like day through day, you see it, and you think that things can go worse, but
I think that society takes care of more stupid things. For example, society thinks that People right now is not taking care of another one. It's like, hey, I'm going to bed best. I'm going to get this. I'm going to buy this. For what? For search happiness. It's like, hey, it's like we have this problem. Okay, there's people suffering harassment. There's people that is being punished. Is the Pope, the church, it's punishing these people, and people is like, oh, you know what? The new iPhone is coming up. I think I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, we carry out our activities, we're daily activities, and in the moment we are shocked by what we see on the TVs or in the news. But at the end of the day, once again, we are not doing anything, and we probably won't do anything until, I don't know, we go instinct, we passed out or something like that.
Yes.